Hello and welcome to Simply Too Good to Be True's kitchen headquarters. I'm Annette and I'm going to be cooking for you today on Thursdays with Annette. I've got my book here ready to go and my oven's preheated, and of course I've got my trusty little apron on so I don't make a mess of my fabulous clothes. So what are we making today? Well, it's going to be out of book 2. It's also in cooking for 1 or 2. So if you want to serve 8 or do you want to serve 2? That's your choice. And so you'll get to be able to pick if you become a winner of this week's show, and I'll tell you how to do it later, but you will get a chance to pick between book 2 or the cooking for 1 or 2. Here we are, potato bake. I know, it's such a classic. Who doesn't light the Barbie and light the oven at the same time to put in a potato bake? We love it in our family, and the traditional way, please, my arteries are seizing as I think about it. No, it's not good for anyone with diabetes, or if you have cholesterol problems or heart disease, or you want to lose some weight. Probably about a minimum 25 grams of fat a serve. I'd be more inclined to go to 40 to 50, but I'm just being a bit cautious. And my weight is only 5.2. So here we go. This is going to be fantastic. So what you need is you need a kilo of potatoes. I've already peeled them and they're in a water bath, because when you peel potatoes, they get brown very quickly, yes? This way, they stay nice and white. See how they're good? I peeled them about half an hour ago. And the only thing is for this recipe, you need to pat dry so they're not full of water because they have been soaked. So you want a kilo and then peel them. I've landed up with 5 good sized potatoes here. You're going to use cooking spray, Parmesan cheese. Now I'm using the Kraft one. That's the one I like because it's just easier. It's got a little bit of stronger flavour too. And we're going to put in a cup of grated low-fat cheese. That's about 100 grams if you wanted to weigh a chunk, but we've got a cup. I've also got 1.5 cups of skim milk, and you'll see here I've got sachets, and this is the key to this potato bake, to give it that real cheesy flavour, because in a traditional one you'd probably put 3 times that amount of cheese. It's using the cheese sauce, and I'm going to use 2 sachets, and I'll show you how to make that because it's so fantastic. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to chop up the potatoes, and I'm going to show you 2 ways to do it. So this first way is slicing it, and I think that for some people I'm going to be using a food processor over here, and I'm just going to whoosh it through because that's how I do it at home, and I love it because I find it's quick and easy, and that way then I don't feel so like, oh, I haven't got time to make a potato bake. It's quick, it's easy. But if you don't have a food processor, I want to show you how to do it. So now when you see a potato like this, you would normally then start cutting like this, and the key is with the potato bake, you want thin slices. Otherwise, it'll be in the oven for 5 hours. Yes. What I'm going to show you is a safe way to chop a potato. I take off that bit and roll it down. Now see how secure that is? Whereas before it was rolling around. And now I'm going to go in with my very sharp knife, and I'm going to go as close as I can to the edge. You don't want really thick pieces of potato, mainly because, as I said, it just will take forever to cook. A sharp knife is going to really help you as well. And as I said, this is the way for slicing yourself, but I'm also going to show you with a food processor how easy. Now when you get to the end bit and it gets a bit tricky, just turn it around. Just watch your fingers because you want to go very thin. There we go. And with this remaining bit, I'm just going to cut it. Oh, okay, maybe not like that. Yes, I will. No, I'm going to go like this. Just slice it really thin. Because when it goes into the bake thing, you won't matter about what shape the potatoes are. It's all about just cooking it all up. All right, so there is one lot chopped up. And I'm going to get my lasagna dish. I'm going to spray it with cooking spray. And then I'm going to bring over, let's get rid of that. I'm going to put these in, and then I'm going to show you how I do it with the food processor. Now the key when you're doing potato bake is what I'm doing right now, is layering it. It's layer upon layer upon layer of layer. You don't want to just pick it up and put it like that. You want to be able to get those individual layers cooked quickly and spread them out. All right, so there's that one. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to dry my tatties. And I mean, we all love potato bake, and sometimes people put bacon in it and things, and I go, no, make it the normal way, it's fabulous. But honestly, this is so much healthier. So I'm excited to be able to show you how easy it is to make this and how great it is as well. Okay, let's put the potatoes there. I don't need this anymore, do I? Put my fabulous little watermelon chopping board to the side and bring over my trusty food processor. Now this is a big one, and I'm lucky enough that I have got a big chute that I can put the potatoes in here. But if you've only got a smaller one, then just make sure you cut your potatoes to fit the funnel. Now I like to put them in downways like that, because then you get a rounder shape. And I've made them quite thin slices. There we go. You can see how easy it is compared to having to chop it. So if you've got a food processor, use it. All right, so get that out. I can get rid of this because we're actually going to, gosh, which is the right one for it? The top one. I've got my oven preheated too. Did I tell you? 200 degrees, okay? So now, as you can see, these are beautiful thin slices of potato. You could use some sweet potato slices if you want to mix it up. But the key is just, as I'm doing, layer them out. Thin is good. And this is so much healthier. Now I'm doing half, okay? Just half. How am I going? I reckon that's about good. Yep. And now what I'm going to do then is I'm going to do half the cheese. So I've got my grated cheese and my parmesan. So it's 2 tablespoons because we need 4 in total. So I'm doing half. So I just sprinkle that over the potato. Let's do one more, because you really want to feel that cheese flavor, or taste the cheese sort of in this, don't you? And now half the cheese. Yep. And now just top it again with the rest of the potato. It takes a while to cook it. That's the only thing about this traditional potato bake. You will actually have to cook it for an hour. Then you take the foil off and you cook it for at least another probably 15 minutes. It just depends on how long it's going to take for your potatoes to cook. And I test that by, you know, getting a knife and poking through it just to make sure the potato is cooked enough, because there's nothing worse. You don't want a hard potato bake. Oh no. Now if you're saying to me, Annette, an hour and then another 15 minutes, who has time for that? Well, don't worry, I can help you out, because I have got a really quick version of potato bake, which we do use a lot as well. It's nice to have a couple to choose from. Actually, if you're looking through the cookbooks, you'll see that I've got a few potato bakes. So in book 2, which is this one here I'm making now, it has this recipe as well, of course, and then it also has a pizza potato bake. And I love that because you've got all those flavours of the pizza in it. And potato, yes, love it. And then I've also done a potato slice, which is kind of a take on this, but you actually grate the potato, and I really like that one. I love that one too. And then you've also got the quick and easy potato bake. That's in book 6, and that's the one where you actually cook the potatoes ahead, and it's much quicker. So that's the option if you don't want to do this that long. Another 2 tablespoons. Remember, in the recipe it says 4 tablespoons, so I'm doing 2 and then 2. And then the rest of the cheese. Oh, actually, I'm supposed to do the cheese sauce and then do that. So let me stop there. I'm rushing ahead because I've got to do something else. Here we go. Annette. Alrighty. All right, so is this turned on? Yes. Why isn't it coming on, Mr. Sim? Oh, maybe my hands are wet. No. It's, or maybe the plug, oh, the plug's not in properly. Thank you, Billy. I must have moved it out when I took out the food processor. Oh dear, don't you love it? All right, 1.5 cups of skim milk. Now what you do, and there's a reason why I do this. With the cheese sauce mix, they say for you to put the dry mix into the bowl first, not into wet. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to put 2 sachets of the cheese sauce. Now if you're buying the tub of it, this has got, where does it say the grams, or did I cut it off? Yes, 29, so it's 58 grams if you bought the tub of the cheese sauce. All right, so that goes in there. I'm going to use my whisk. So once this is boiled, then what you do is you pour the hot milk into there, not the other way around. That's why you do it that way. And I've tried to microwave it, but then it bubbles over in the microwave and I land up with such a mess, it's crazy. I mean, look at the mess I make now anyway. Now, this fat count for this recipe is only 5.2 per serve. It's enough for 8. And you can freeze it for a couple of weeks because of the milk and the dairy, more so the milk. You can't freeze it for much longer than that because it may separate. But I find it keeps for quite a while in the fridge, you know, for quite a few days if you have any left over. That's the thing. Alrighty, we're getting bubbles here. It's so close. And then I'll pour it in. There we go. Pour in and mix. There we go. I don't think you can get much easier than that to make a cheese sauce, can you? Perfect. All right, so let's move this away. Put that in my soapy sink. And I'll show you the finishing of this. I mean, potato bake goes with everything, not just barbecues, of course. You can make it and just have, a roast chook or whatever with it. It's just beautiful. But see, there's the sauce. Look how gorgeous that is. Look at that. It's mixed up beautiful. So now I'm going to pour it over the potato. There we go. I really should have done the parmesan next, but that's okay. It won't matter to the dish at all. Okay, so spread that out. And it will seep down in as it bakes. It will seep into the potato as well. Then we finish it with the parmesan and the cheese. And that is a really healthy, very easy to make potato bake. Yes, who wouldn't love this? I know my family love it. Yes, and you know, I find the other one, I can't eat it. It's just so, I can see the grease that sits on the top of it, and it just does my head in. I can't do it. It's just too high in fat. So now what I'm going to do now, before I put it in my oven, I'm going to put a cover over it. So we want foil, but I've learned since that another way is to use baking paper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that on the top, because this way it sort of kind of helps with the cheese not sticking to the top. I need foil. But what I'm going to do with the foil is I'm going to give it a spray. You know, get the cooking spray. And actually maybe put that on it, because that will help it stick. And over it goes. Seal it in really well. That's fantastic. All right, here we are. Potato bake in the oven. Let's just, yum. I'm going to put my timer on for an hour. And then I'll come back. Actually, I'll take it off, come back, cook it till it's ready, and then you can see the finished potato bake. So I'll be back shortly. Well, I can hear my oven beeping, so that means that the potato bake is done. So while you've been waiting, I've took the foil off, cooked it for another 15 minutes, and it's perfect. So let's have a look. It's golden brown. Let me make sure it's very hot. Oh, hey, look at that. Isn't that fantastic? All right, so it's golden and brown, beautiful and fabulous, and this is the guilt-free potato bake from book 2, and also you can do it for 2 people in Cooking for 2. The recipe is slightly different, so just check that out. But now the key is portion control with anything, and this is where we can just make mistakes. So let me show you how you do this. So we go down the middle, and remember this has just come out of the oven, so sometimes it's better to let it sit for a few minutes. All right, I'm going to go around the edge here because I'm going to cut a piece out, and now we want 8, so therefore you'll go down here and then here and here. So you get a nice serve, just so you know. So I'm gonna, where is the middle? Here. So let's cut this one out. Let's go in the middle piece. Make sure you're cutting it well. Look at all that oozy, cheesy fabulousness. And then I'm just gonna scoop it out. Oh, look at that. Just fabulous. And all you've got to do now is just put your rest of your dinner to it, or lunch, and you've got something really fantastic to eat. So this is my potato bake, done and dusted, and remember it's only 5.2 grams of fat. Now the thing is, the dietitian tip, I'm going to read it, and this is written by Lisa Cochran, who is an very highly regarded dietitian. She says a high calcium, low fat recipe that is tasty and will help to build strong bones. Well, I reckon it'll just help my taste buds. If you'd like to win book 2 or the Cooking for 2, so these are the 2 books that are up for offer, these 2, you just have to win them, and personally signed by me, you have to like, share, and then in the comments you write #Symply2Good. Remember, it's SYM. If you don't know now, you never will. And the number 2. So #Symply2Good in the comments, and I'll pick 3 lucky winners. You'll be notified by an email, as well as it will be posted next Thursday in the morning to say who the winners were. All right, so now next week's show, is going to be fabulous. I'm going into book 7 and it's one of those really, really easy, let me do a good dinner but I have no time to make anything. It's the chicken cottage pie. It is fantastic. It really is super easy. It's one of those ones, it's a bit like curry in a hurry. It's quick, it's easy, it's fabulous. Now, if you want more tips or recipes, you know where to go. It's simplytoogood.com.au. I mean, looking at this, who knew weight loss could be so deliciously healthy? Beautiful potato bake, living the life. Anyway, I'm so glad you joined me today because I've had so much fun with you. But I'll be back again next Thursday with another delicious, simply too good to be true recipe for you. Take care. Bye now.